All right, all right. Hello, all you sports fans out there in podcast land, and welcome once again to another edition of Babbling Brooks, your new favorite podcast, where I, your host Brooks, try to bring you some of today's sports news with just a little twist of my point of view. Hope you're all having a great start to the week so far. A terrific Tuesday. It should be terrific because we've got the MLB All-Star Game tonight, and we've got 6 Braves players playing. Of course, we got 8 All-Stars named to the team. Spencer Strider and Bryce Elder both at the game, at the events, kind of soaking it all in. But since they both just pitched against the Tampa Bay Rays, they will not be partaking in the actual action. But hey, we're still going to get to see 3 Braves starting. Ronald Acuna leading off for the National League, just like he does for the Bravos every single damn day that we play baseball. And then, of course, Sean Murphy, Orlando Arcia are also starting, with the rest of the infield coming off the bench. Of course, Ozzie Albies, Matt Olson not starting at first base because former Brave Freddie Freeman is. And Dansby Swanson, former Brave, is the backup shortstop. Jorge Soler, world champion with the Braves in 2021, is an all-star with the Miami Marlins. So it's a Braves reunion, baby. Just no coaches there. Too bad, right? Too bad it couldn't be one. We went to the World Series last year. We could have that. Instead, it's the Phillies manager, man. I wonder if he's going to fuck us over. So you know what? None of you guys are playing together somehow. Just kidding. I'm sure. Sure he's more professional than that. And while we're talking about it, let's talk about the Braves' last 2 games before the All-Star break. Of course, I watched the game Saturday, was off, and I worked Sunday morning. I worked yesterday morning, and just honestly didn't have a chance to do it. And also, I was like, well, there's nothing new happening. There's no games I'm missing. If it was more than 2, I might have went ahead and did a little something. But anyway, today we'll talk about the Braves, and then real quick, we'll get into the Hawks' Summer League win in Game 2 of the Vegas Summer League for them. But first things first, how about Spencer Strider keeping the Braves winning ways going? Game 2 of this series down there in Tampa Bay. Braves take the W 6-1. And with the win in Game 2, this gave them their 11th straight series win. They are on a roll. A mini winning streak for them. And with this game, they gave the Tampa Bay Rays their longest losing streak of the season. It was the last day of it, but still, 7 games. Nope, they hadn't lost that many in a row. And I feel like even though they ended up losing the last game, spoiler alert, this Braves team showed they are the best in baseball right now for sure. But Spencer Strider looking like maybe the best pitcher, definitely one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's one of 3 or maybe 4 pitchers that have reached the 11-win mark. So right up there with the league leaders, 11-2. Had 11 strikeouts. That's his 11th game with at least 10 strikeouts. Seems to be a correlation. You got strikeouts, you win games. But it's really cool to see because he went through some doldrums. Like last month before, whatever, starting to look like maybe, some of the polish wearing off. Not quite as pristine as we thought. But hey, man, baseball's fucking hard. I was terrible at it. So it's hard. Sometimes you're going to have some rough patches. And the key is what you do after those rough patches. It's like there's a rap. I can't remember which album it was on because there's so many different ones. I think it might have been on the Rome Street. It's one of the West Side Gun albums. It's what you do after the brick. Bitch, I'm Draymond. It's what you're going to do after the mistake, after the miss. How are you going to rebound, in other words? So I think that's cool. I love seeing that Spencer's done that. And it's 8th start of his in a row that the Braves have won. He's won 7 straight. When it comes to his personal win-loss, but there's been 8 decisions. Or 8 of his starts in a row, the Braves have won, even when he didn't get the W himself. But hey, man, you got to feel pretty good seven strikeouts, 7 wins in a row for him. And at one point to get these 11 strikeouts, dude, he struck out 11 Rays. I mean, he struck out 7 Rays hitters in a row, y'all. Just on a roll. Going hot into the All-Star break, man. Definitely keeps this up. His name going to be in the Cy Young conversation. It'd be really cool to see Spencer Strider win an award since he was unable to take home the Rookie of the Year because there was someone on his team that had an even better rookie season, Michael Harris II. It's one of those times when maybe we need a pitching Rookie of the Year. At least one, maybe between the two leagues. I think, Spencer would have won that. Honestly, he would have won the regular Rookie of the Year almost any, if it hadn't been for Michael Harris II. And I'm sure he doesn't mind. At least getting to see his teammate get some love. It'd be cool, We got the potential MVP. Maybe we get a little Cy Young, But more than that, I want to see World Series win number 2 for this team. Beat that the 90s little disappointment where we only won 1. When it felt like we should have done some Yankee shit and won a couple. That's a to be continued type of thing. But definitely awesome seeing Spencer Strider like this. He's got 9 or more strikeouts in his last 4 starts. So he's getting there, man. It's just cool seeing him mix it up. Seems really excited about being an all-star. He's not actually going to pitch in that, which is just the way it works out. You don't want to be like throwing him out there even for an inning. You don't want to really risk it when you throw off the start to the second half of the season. Because it's cool to get these honors and all that, but it's even cooler we keep winning and win in the end. In the end. I'm about to start singing some Linkin Park in a girl voice. I don't know why. But either way, that's what matters. It's beautiful to see all this in the All-Star break. But October, into November, that's when the real cheese gets made. I think I just made up that saying. You got to try to invent some catchphrases here. The real cheese gets made. Sounds like some Wisconsin shit. But the Braves, how did they win this game? We'll say, obviously, Spencer Strider struck out 11 guys. That goes a long fucking way. But it helps when you get some offense going. Because the Braves actually were getting shut out. Not shut out, but shut down. They didn't have any base runners for the first 3 innings of this one. So it was a good thing. Spencer Strider was wheeling and dealing on the damn mound. We've been in trouble. And this may have been their 7th loss in a row, but this is still the best damn team in the American League, the 2nd best damn team in all of Major League Baseball. But hey, man, the Braves are the best. So in the 4th inning, they break through a 4-run 4th, starting it out. Ronald Acuna, who flew out in his first at bat, 2 for 4 in this game overall, gets a double. Ozzie Albies, smart guy, follows it up, good eye, walks, also an all-star. What's up next? You got Austin Riley. He gets an out, but Matt Olson comes up. RBI single, baby. He ended up being 1 of 4 in this game, and that knocked Ronald home. Ronald scoring relatively easy. You're making it look easy at least because Ronald Acuna is just that damn good. I mean, it was really cool kind of just hearing read some of the All-Star coverage, and even guys on other teams are like, wow, like they're in awe of his MVP-ness. I can't help but say it. MVP-ness. Not E-N-I-S, y'all. E-N-E-S-S. I guess, right? Either way, it's impressive. I mean, I would assume. I don't know. But Matt Olson, RBI single. And what was even more impressive, Sean Murphy keeping the streak alive, tying an all-time Braves franchise record for consecutive games with a home run. This is 25 games in a row. 3-run home run for Sean Murphy. Just showing how great it is to be an all-star. That's 17 home runs for Sean Murphy before the all-star break. What a year for him. I'm surprised he hasn't been an all-star yet. And I'm taking back all the terrible things I said about that trade. If I haven't already. Which I have, but nobody was listening. I'm going to miss William Contreras. But man, having the Sean Murphy, Travis d'Arnaud combo as our catcher has just been fucking incredible. Just great. And see, Tampa did answer. Which finally in the 8th inning, they ruined our shutout on Heller, which he only ended up out there because A.J. Minter had some little tightness. He said he was fine, so maybe they're being a little extra careful. It was like some pectoral tightness. He's listed as day-to-day, but with the All-Star break, I would assume he'll be fine. Once that's over, should be good enough because it didn't seem that serious. It seemed like more of a precautionary measure, which is fine with me. You got to be extra careful. You don't need to, this time of year, we're going to need AJ later on. So you don't want to, ruin it, especially when you know you've got a small break coming up. So these little issues you can take care of. So Heller did allow a run, so no shutout. But honestly, who gives a damn about shutouts? Well, as long as you get the W. And that was Wander Franco scoring on a ground out / error on Matt Olson's part. But the Braves answered that with a little insurance of their own because it was a save opportunity. They had Iglesias warming up. It was a 4-1 game. And the Braves were like, you know what? Why don't you take the day off, Rossell Iglesias? We don't need a hero today because we've got our beloved Braves. Arcia scores a run on Michael Harris' fielder choice. Harris is 0 for 4 and doesn't get credit for the RBI, but he gets on base and ends up scoring, so it's good to me. I feel like on a fielder's choice, it should still count as an RBI. Somebody comes home. And Arcia's 2 of 4 in this one. Glad to see him going in to the All-Star break looking good. And what a year for him. Me and a lot of people assumed it was going to be Vaughn Grissom, potentially Braden Shoemake, being a spoiler candidate. No one was giving much thought to Orlando Arcia, but Orlando Arcia is like, hey, y'all, don't y'all forget about me because I'm here to ball. And what he's done for us with the glove, what he's done for us with the bat, he is well-deserving of that all-star nod. Especially great to see him starting. Just cool. And kind of funny that he's doing it over Dansby Swanson, the guy that we were all freaking out about trying to replace. And it looks like one of those situations where it worked out good for both teams. Dansby got paid. I think his wife plays in Chicago soccer. And, he gets to play at Wrigley Field, which is a magical place. I've been there. It's the only non-Braves Major League Park I've been to. It's magical. And also, he gets to shine there. And he's doing great. He's an all-star. And then the Braves got Orlando Arcia. And he's an all-star. And eventually, we got Vaughn Grissom. We got Braden Shoemake. We'll figure out what to do with them kids. Maybe some of them get traded. One of them maybe. I don't know. A lot of that depends on Arcia. But, hey, there's some time. Braves kind of replenishing the farm system a little bit with some draft picks. I'm not going to go too much into the draft because there's 20 fucking rounds. And I'm just not. I've never watched college baseball in my life. Other than a few innings here that I'm saying, just I've never gone out of my way to watch it. I've never followed college baseball. With college basketball, I have at some point been really into. Back when I was growing up, I loved watching college basketball. I loved watching college football. Still like watching both, especially football. Basketball, there's just so many games. Can't really keep up. I don't really pay attention until later in the season. But baseball, I just never really have. So I don't know. Okay, I think it's cool. They got a local kid, an outfielder. Other than that, they got 8 pitchers. But either way, Braves looking pretty good. Acuna following up that little action there. Arcia scored. And Acuna, he's like, what? I would like to get an RBI. I've already scored in this game. How about an RBI? So he knocks in Michael Harris the second with an RBI single. And there goes the save situation. So no point in putting Rossell Iglesias out there, low leverage 5-run lead situation. So here with Charlie McGee. Not Charlie, it's Charlie Morton. Whatever. Colin McGee. I was like, I know it's a C. He finished in Tampa off 9 pitches, 0 hits, 0 walks. Of course, 0 runs. That's the final. Some other small notes. Kirby Yates looking good. Finishing at the 7th for Spencer. And then getting 2 outs. Get a strikeout overall. And actually, it was A.J. Minter, it kind of was what threw them out there. And, I thought they were going to, I think that's what led to the run. It looks like it's not serious, though. Of course, some of the guys not so in. Riley, Ozuna couldn't get on base in this one. Rosario was 0-2, then Pilar 0-1 as a pinch hitter. What was really impressive is our pitching staff. These first two games against Tampa, who, though they're in a losing streak, still has been one of the hottest offenses overall this year. Like, the way they started was insane. And the way the Braves are playing now is kind of insane, but that's a different thing. And we held these Tampa Bay Rays to only 8 hits total the first two games. 3 total runs the first two games. And, we were taking care of business ourselves. 3 of 7 runners in scoring position. It's just when we had the opportunity, we were getting it done. And Tampa did it, give them credit. They did a really good job at kind of shutting the Braves down early on, but the Braves wouldn't let it last. But, of course, I told y'all I did not expect a sweep because this Tampa team is really damn good. And I just don't see them losing 8 in a row before the All-Star break. And I was right. I would like to not be right on this probably, but still, it's kind of cool. It's not that surprising. Tampa Bay found a way to get the win, 10-4. So kind of a blowout, but so not the best way you want to go into the break. But overall, the Braves have still won 27 of their last 32 games. So you're kind of like, you're not going to win them all. You're going to lose some games along the way. There's 162 games in a season. You literally cannot win them all. So if you're going to lose to a really damn good team like the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa ending the longest losing streak of the season for them. Beating the Braves in their own game, getting on the board early. 4-run first inning. Paredes having a 2-run homer there. Also had Jonathan Hernandez, an RBI double. It was his second MLB game. He debuted on Saturday. So good for the kid. And just kind of a rough game for Bryce Elder, which is going to have the worst start probably of his career, definitely this season. Like every other start so far, he's been able to go at least 5 innings. This time, only made it 3 in the third. Gave up 6 hits and 7 runs. Walked 4 with zero strikeouts. So, not a great way to end the first half of your first All-Star season. But like I mentioned with Spencer Strider, you're going to have days, there's going to be days like this. Mama said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this. Mama said. And, Mama did say knock you out. But that's knock them out, but that's a whole other thing. We can't knock them out every day, especially a damn good team like this. And Bryce Elder, sort of sometimes you feel like he's getting by with stuff. Like it's just really cool how he's able to get outs in different ways. So I think he'll bounce back from this. Like, it's really great. That's one of the really cool things about this team. I've seen Ozzy talking about it, Brian Snitker, other Braves. Just like every day is a new day. They're not, focused on their failures. They're not, super, honed in on, we're so damn good. They know they're good, but they don't sit there and just, once the game's over, they kind of move on. They don't dwell on how, the last game, the good or the bad. And I think that works out good. In a long-ass season like this, you got to have a short memory sometimes because you can't get too high on your wins because you got to keep winning. Wins now are great. It's really cool having an incredible record. Ronald Acuna doing historic things every day, but it'd be even cooler. I'm sure Ronald Acuna would win. He's doing this because he wants to win a World Series. An MVP would be awesome. But I think he missed out on 2021 because he was hurt. And he was there. He got to celebrate it. But it wasn't the same because he did not play in the World Series. And he wants to do that. Especially after Freddie Freeman said, we're going to do it again next year with you. And then Freddie's gone. So Acuna is just on a mission this year. In the way this team's playing, I like our chances. The Braves, though, they weren't going to go, gently into the good night of the All-Star break. 2-run fourth inning, getting on base. Ozzy Albies scoring on a double play. And how about, we may have ended our winning streak, but we did keep one streak alive. Travis d'Arnaud hitting his 8th homer of the year to keep the home run every game streak alive. And now it's a team franchise record 26 straight games with a home run. And honestly, I don't think they're done. Just seems like somebody, when you got 9 guys, 10 guys really that can hit a home run on a given day, you never know what's going to happen. And that gives us, our catchers have 25 home runs total before the All-Star break. 17 for Sean Murphy. And Darno's is even more impressive because he missed a fucking month. When he had that concussion, he was out pretty much a month. And he still managed to get 8 homers before the All-Star break, playing like basically every other day at the most. That's a lot, because you just think 8's not a lot of home runs. But when you really think about all the time he missed, and he ain't playing every day, like, you got to rotate these guys. Like, they're just that damn good, and I think that's going to pay off down the stretch, because they're going to have some fresher legs than they would otherwise. Maybe than some of the other catchers will. Because you never can hesitate. You always know each one can step up. Usually your backup catcher is a drop-off. Doesn't really seem that way. Doesn't seem that way, right? With these guys. It's like, really, Travis, if he was playing every day, he'd probably be an all-star too. That's what's crazy about it. It's like whichever one of them would start is going to be an all-star. So great to see that. So team record, but the Rays, it was their game. They had a 3-run fourth, scored 1 in the 5th inning, and all the Braves were able to do was 1 run each in the 6th and the 7th. He had Olsen, who was 1 of 4 with an RBI double. Michael Harris, the second, 1 of 3. Here he has his RBI single. And Yandy Diaz, 2-run double in the 8th, giving them that extra little cushion. And they take this one home 10-4, which is a disappointing outcome. But, you can't win them all, man. You just can't. It's baseball. And, Bryce Elder, even with the loss, he's 7-2. Still has an ERA under 3. Went up a lot, went up almost half a point. It's like 2.95, I believe now. It was like 2.4 or 2.5 something. So that's disappointing, but when you give up 7 runs and still be under 3 ERA, you've had a pretty good year. So I feel he'll bounce back. Some of that all-star vibe going to rub off on him, even though he's not playing in the game. Tonkin coming in, finishing the 3rd, doing the full 4th inning. Give up 1 run, 2 hits, couple strikeouts. The best pitching in this game had to be Joe Jimenez. 2 innings pitched, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So good to see him. I feel like he's kind of struggled this year. And I feel like bullpen is a little place we need the most, like, shoring up. Like, if the team's going to do a trade. But at the same time, like, if we can get Chavez back, which I haven't heard anything new, like, we've got some strength, man, with Iglesias, AJ Minter, as long as he's healthy, coming on the back end. Guys like McGew that can do a couple innings here and there. Tonkin has shown he can do 1 or 2 innings when needed. And to see that we can get that out of Joe, I think is really big. And that kind of, start placing some more confidence in him. So he did a good job. He could have got worse. Pretty much the only Braves pitcher not giving up any runs in this one. Colby Allard, who had started the game for us a couple weeks back, comes in relief, pitches an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So nothing great, but he's still kind of adjusting to his role with the team. Of course, we do have Soroka, who's looked good. We'll see how he comes out the All-Star break. Max Fried did start. He had his rehab start, so he'll be hopefully about a month from now. Within the next month, I believe he will be back with the Braves. Only went 1 1/3 inning, 35 pitches. Definitely, still needs to work on his control. But a lot of that, too, I think he was just he was checking out his secondary pitches just to see how it's reacting, see how it's going to work. Because that's the main thing with him. It's not even win, loss, get outs. It's like you just want to see him build up that arm strength to where he can pitch 4 or 5 innings and then more down the stretch, hopefully. So they're going to be careful. And like I mentioned before, it makes it a lot easier to be careful when you are dealing with like a team that's just winning games anyway, despite missing our best 2 pitchers from last year. The other guys just stepping up. So we got stepping up in this game. Austin Riley, 3 of 4. Ozuna and Rosario both 1 of 4 with 2 strikeouts. Arcia 0 of 4. It was kind of a disappointing last game, but he still had an incredible first half of the season. And getting named to his first All-Star break is something very, very special. Actually, I want to look and see what his average is for the year, because it was really close. It was over 3 and it fell down a little bit. Hate when this is happening. Of course, when I'm trying to find something, it takes longer. Excuse me. So for the year, he's 294, so pretty damn good, considering a lot of people did not expect him to have a chance to be the starting shortstop this year. Ronald Acuna, of course, our leading guy, average-wise for the first half of the season, 331. Next up, Arcia, of course. Then Travis d'Arnaud, 275. Austin Riley, 266. Ozzie Albies, 262. Matt Olson, 254. Ozuna, 250. Rosario, 254. And Sean Murphy, because that was the last game, I have to go look at another day. Sean Murphy hitting 306. So the Braves got 2 guys over 300, and one of them really damn close. Great first half of the season. Great to get the good news about Max Fried. And just Tampa Bay had her number. Zach Elfin getting his 10th win of the season. 5 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts. Congratulations, Rays. But you're still the second best team in Major League Baseball. And that will do it for the Braves today. And of course, tune in tomorrow. I will be definitely watching the All-Star game tonight. Kind of report back with what happens, and maybe Ronald Acuna. I'm predicting maybe a leadoff home run. Saw somebody on the MLB All-Star coverage yesterday. They were talking to him, and the guy's like, "I think you're gonna hit a home run." He's like, "Okay." Definitely gonna have a homer or a steal, maybe both, depending on how many innings he gets in. I'm sure they want to feature him, and I'm excited about that. But also something I'm excited about. How about the Hawks getting their first win of the Summer League this year, 98-93 over the Denver Nuggets. And I do not know any of these guys on the Nuggets team. I know that they're the big club just won a chip, but this is not those guys. This is the future. Some of the future, at least. Because it's like a Summer League. It's a weird-ass mixture of course, like your draft picks from this year, maybe your draft picks from last year, some undrafted guys from the last couple years, maybe somebody that played in the G League last year. But just you're trying to see who, trying to round out your roster and, get your rookies some work. Victor Wembanyama struggled his first game, had a nice performance in the second one, and he's done for the rest of the Summer League. And you can't really blame the Spurs on that, especially someone like, Wembanyama. You could more worried about injury. Look at what happened to Chet Holmgren. He's looking good now. Looks like he beefed up a little bit. But he got getting hurt in summer basketball last year. That wasn't even Summer League, even before the Summer League, going up against LeBron. So you don't want to risk it. Get that way they can give him a chance to start working on being ready. Now they've given him a taste of like gameplay, and now you're like, okay, now let's get some muscle. Not that it's gonna be all of it, but I would assume that's part of it. And the media stuff, you can tell, is exhausting to him. Because in France, he was the focal point. I'm sure there was a lot of media coverage. But being over here, we take our basketball a little more serious, than France. And our media is just insane sometimes, I'm sure he's tired of getting asked the same 3 questions in 20,000 different ways in a language that he's learning still sometimes. I'm like, that's what I think I need to come up. I need to start writing down some of these. Because every time I watch players get questioned, it's like, why would someone, someone asked Jordan Poole if Draymond and him had talked since the trade. I'm like, that's just like, you're just trying to get some drama started with a question like that. And I don't blame him for not responding. Come on, obviously part of the reason he was traded is because they chose Draymond over him. And just to be like, have you talked to me yet? I'm sure Draymond just called him up to be like, hey buddy, sorry I punched you and kicked you out of town. And there was something else, I can't remember who it was but it was somebody, they're just asking a stupid question, just shit starters is what a lot of the media is. And that's not just sports. That's politics, everything. It's because shit, people want to start shit because that's what sells. But moving on from all that jargon and bullshit, how about let's talk some good shit. Kobe Bufkin looked kind of lost at times his first game, missing all his threes. Was 0-8 from downtown. Had 8 turnovers in his first game. But hey, man, it's just Summer League. So what it's there for, work out the kinks and grow, develop. It's not necessarily about what your performance is in one game. It's like, what is it the next game? What are you doing to work on it? Apparently, Kobe Bufkin, after the struggle in the first game, like honed in, hunkered down, however you want to say it, and really seemed to focus. There was like one report I read that he got the Hawks staff to get him some, video footage of his first game. Also, looking ahead, I guess watching one of the Nuggets Summer League games leading into this, so he can get familiar with them. And in this game, he looked a lot better. He ended up with 17 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, even added a block, and only had 4 turnovers. So just like that, he cut the turnovers in half. And yeah, 4 is more than you would like, but that's kind of what we get used to with Trey. And you gotta, if you have the ball in your hands the most, you're attempting to make the most plays, you're usually going to end up with the most turnovers, compared to the rest of your team. You'd like it to be lower, but it's kind of hard. You're not going to just never turn it's pretty hard to not turn the ball over at all when you're handling the ball like almost every play, every possession. And Kobe Bufkin, I think they're trying to see how he could be as like a backup point guard. You just bring Patty Mills into the trade. We don't know if he's going to stick around. More on that at the end. But he's definitely got a place, I would think, in the rotation. And after shooting 0 for 8, we mentioned in the previous game from 3, he started this one out 0 of 3. So 11 straight threes in a row, but he did not let it affect his confidence. He kept shooting, ends up going 4 of 10 from downtown. So if you take out those 3 he missed, means 4 of 7 after that point. So pretty impressive. 6 of 19 overall from the field. Not the best, but definitely you could tell some improvement. The way he was attacking. He was, his confidence, kept his confidence even though he missed a lot of shots. And that's the thing, man. Even when you miss shots, you got to have the confidence to take the next shot. Or, look what happened to Ben Simmons. Like, he still ain't cleared to play 5-on-5. All these years after the Hawks destroyed his confidence. And the fans in Philly destroyed his confidence, and he just, didn't have the mental fortitude, the emotional stuff to deal with it. And I can understand, man, it's tough getting trashed, especially the Philly fans, man. That's a tough place. That's why I wonder if Nick Nurse is going to regret, because maybe he got fired in Canada. I don't know what happened there, but he's leaving Canada to go to Philadelphia. That's a whole other media environment. The fans, man, be throwing batteries and shit. But definitely good to see Bufkin play more aggressive, a little more like Kobe. And he's young, but he's got a lot of potential. That's what I saw in this game. The fact that he was able to improve one game to the next pretty significantly, and to turn it around, missing all those 11 threes in a row to start out his professional career, and then go 4 of 7. I like it. His confidence, his aggression. We'll see how much he plays. I say that. Probably keep playing him. He's not quite as high profile as Wembanyama. Not like the face of the team or whatever, where, he's going to be coming off the bench. Where Victor is going to be a starter in San Antonio. There's no doubt about it. Just like, that's what's happening. So with Kobe, they still want to work out a few of the kinks. But good to see this. And also someone surprising me with a really good game, Tyrese Martin. Spent most of last year in the G League. Had 21 points in this one. 8 of 12 from the field after going 1 of 5 overall before. And his contract coming up due for a guarantee soon. He's got 10 days before his contract becomes guaranteed. So Hawks got 9 days to decide what to do with him. There's only one roster spot left right now. And if Tyrese Martin, Vic Krejci, only one of them is going to get kept. They did just guarantee Bruno Fernando's $2.6 million contract. So that pretty much, in my opinion, means Tyrese and Vic are competing for that last spot right now. One of them or both of them probably going to be gone because, Brady Manick might try to get his name in there too. But Tyrese, you got to like what he was doing here, playing best he can. He's got some skill. Just, I don't know, man, let's try to find a spot for him. Has been tough. And we'll see what he's got. He's got some good size for a guard. And games like if he can have more games like this, that'll help him out. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Vic get featured a little more next game. He actually is still like a low score, only 9 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, so tied with Kobe Bufkin for the most assists on the team in this game. And he was 4 of 4 from the field and 1 of 1 from 3. So not the point total low, but playing a little less minutes, a little less featured than Tyrese, but still like getting his name in contention with that, especially the assist and the fact that he didn't miss a shot. And he's got some good energy. I like Vic just because even though he was basically never playing except for garbage time, like he was still engaged. He was cheering his teammates on. Just good energy on the bench. So that's one good thing about him. But you want to pay someone like $1.7 million to be a cheerleader. But they're nice to have just in case. So I just feel like one of them is going to stick with the Hawks and maybe the other goes to the G League. But Tyrese trying to get out of the G League and play his way onto the team. But Vic, not going to give it up real easy. Kind of disappointed in A.J. Griffin in this one. Only 6 points in 25 minutes. 2 of 8 from the field. 1 of 4 from downtown. No, it was only 19 minutes. I can't read my own handwriting. Look, what in the world does that even say? 6 points, 25. Yeah. Either way, like AJ, which I felt a lot of that with AJ Griffin was just kind of like maybe they're not necessary. They just want him to get some work in, but not necessarily Kobe Bufkin being more the focal point. Like they know AJ Griffin's on this team, still trying to let Kobe build up his role, and then guys like Tyrese Martin. Like have a decision to make. With AJ, there's not really a decision. They're not. It's just how much they're going to play him. What's he going to be like in the rotation? But they're probably watching to see what he does off ball as much as anything, and just try to be like, okay, like how's he going to be? But like the main focus is these guys that you've never seen play before. Because AJ, we've seen him hit multiple game-winning shots in the NBA. And, question with him is role and minutes and all that jazz. But, other good things for this game, though, because like I said, I'm not too worried about AJ. You'd like to see him go off, kind of, but at the same time, that's not the point. I feel like we know more what we have in AJ than all these new guys or the guys that, are we going to pay Tyrese? Are we going to pay Vic? Only one of them going to get that guaranteed contract, so who's it going to be? But Mohamed Gay in this one, 10.6 rebounds, 3 of 5. 2 of 3 from 3, so that's not. You like having a 6'11", 7-foot guy that can hit threes, and he could definitely. I think if he could play his way into the rotation, not someone you mind having. I mean, right now I don't know. I think there'd have to be some moves made before he's really finds any minutes, because especially bringing Bruno Fernando back. As of now, we still have Clint Capella, we still have Onyeka Okongwu. At least one of them is going to be traded. I would be shocked if one of them is not traded in the next couple of weeks, probably. And there was even some talk they might try to add one of them into expand the signing trade that's sending Grant Williams to Dallas, because apparently that's not been finalized. So that could turn from a 3-team trade to a 5-team trade. I don't see that would be wild, but there's multiple trade scenarios I'm seeing surrounding either Capella or Okongwu going to Dallas or going to Toronto. Pascal Siakam, apparently the Hawks are still trying to figure out a way to get him. And depending on what we give up, I would like to have Siakam, but we'll see what goes on with that. I mean, him, DeJounte, and Trey would be pretty special. But how many of our guys we're going to have to give up? How much of the future would you have to mortgage away? We've given away enough first-round picks lately. You don't want to have too many of those in there, but either way, it's great to see someone like Gay, even though he's not maybe going to get a lot of minutes this year, at least showing them they got to think about it. When you can get points and rebounds, factor in, you can hit threes, to be an important piece, especially in today's NBA, and especially with the Hawks centers not being the tallest, especially Okongwu, who's 6'9". Some other guys in this one, Brady Manick, who was our high scorer in game one. Only 10 points in this one, still had 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from downtown. Only in 18 minutes. So just kind of getting him just enough. And someone else, though, I mean, he's got that history. Played a season with Trey at Oklahoma. 4 seasons there before eventually getting one in at UNC as a graduate. So he's somebody that could be a piece, but like I think he's got to step up a little extra to really to get a shot with the big team. Like maybe with the G League, but this team's crowded. And maybe I wouldn't mind having him over Bogey, but we can't trade Bogey till September. And he'd be more competing, I guess, with Sadiq Bey, AJ Griffin, and those guys for a minute. So, but I like what I've seen from him. But I feel like the big three to watch from this will be Tyrese, Brady Manick, and Vic Krejci. And Seth Lundy getting his first action. He's already on a 2-way contract, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks. So that you like. 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. I feel like he's going to be a G League guy this year. That was our other second round pick, our own one, the gay one we traded for. And Miles Norris also on a 2-way contract with his summer league debut this year. 7 points in 16 minutes, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, which is cool. But he's another one of those that him and Seth Lundy, I think, are more likely to be G League. At least the start of the year, maybe they play their way in. There's some injuries or something. But we got them locked in with that 2-way contract, so I would expect those will be G League guys. And maybe Brady Manick goes to the G League. Tyrese Martin, Vic Krejci, if like one of them will. But maybe they don't. Maybe they want to explore some other options and see if it's someone else. Give them a shot. Either way, though, man, it's going to be interesting if like the next couple weeks, maybe even sooner, some stuff starts to happen. Usually the Vegas Summer League having a lot of players, a lot of executives all in the same place leads to some willing and some dealing. Because we know the Hawks are going after Siakam, potentially giving up one of their centers, obviously, and some other trades I saw. Another one I saw mentioned Jalen Johnson and DeAndre Hunter. Another will be like one or the other with different kinds of picks. So I think it's funny. Basically, so far the Hawks have like traded the draft rights to that guy I've never heard of from like 2017 and John Collins for Patty Mills. Because with the Patty Mills, this is some weird. I always thought it was weird. I thought it was weird already. They did the Ty Washington and Usman Garuba trade to the Rockets. The Rockets were just doing a salary dump. Because those are both guys that were drafted in the first round recently, the last couple of years, especially Ty. It was like last year. But so I'm like, man, the Hawks ain't got no room for these guys. So what they did, they packaged them and Rudy Gay, who they got in return for John Collins in that terrible trade where they got a second round pick and Rudy Gay for John Collins, which I still don't really like. I mean, Collins seems nice, though. It seems like it was good for him to get out of having to constantly hear trade rumors, closer to home. And, he did what he could. Like, I like John Collins. I thought he was a really good player. And I just felt like they never figured out how to use him properly. Like, a lot of that was coaching. And then when you got all those trade rumors constantly, it just throws everything else off, too. And just annoying to play under. So, got Patty Mills, who was in 3 trades in 10 days. And, I mean, I like it overall, because we didn't really have any room for Ty Washington or this Usman Garuba. And Rudy Gay, is almost my age. You want someone a little bit younger. Patty Mills, won a championship with the Spurs, I believe it was back in the day. And he's not young, but a little bit younger than Rudy Gay. And he also maybe gets traded too. He could get packaged in a trade with, one of our centers potentially, or DeAndre Hunter or something. Or he could be our backup point guard, which isn't the worst thing in the world. He's an experienced guy. You've always heard good things about work ethic and how he plays, good teammate. And, maybe until Kobe's ready to run the second unit, Patty Mills is someone who can do that. And Bufkin can play either point guard or shooting guard coming off the bench as well. So maybe some of that factors in to what they end up doing with Patty Mills. Because like I said, it's one of those trades you're like, yeah, that's not nothing crazy, but it's an improvement because not like we really had stuff for those guys. It'd be cool if we got a little bit more. Either way, and it's kind of interesting because it leads to the Thunder have 35 draft picks over the next 7 years, 15 first rounders and 20 second round picks. Since we sent them the second round pick, and it saved the Hawks $4.5 million. Which then if we just paid DeJounte, maybe want to try to pay somebody else like a Pascal Siakam, and he'll be due for an extension. That's one reason the Raptors are considering trading him, because they lost Van Vliet, they lost Kyle Lowry back-to-back years for nothing. So a good trade, get a player that could actually contribute or be a trade piece, and you'll save us some money. And I feel like there's another trade about to happen. Haven't heard any specific stuff other than the Pascal Siakam rumors, but most of that seems like conjecture at this point, because he doesn't seem like he wants to stay in Toronto from what I hear, and he might not be willing to sign an extension with the team. So you don't want to give up a bunch of assets and then the dude just go right back to Toronto, sort of like Kenny Lofton. Braves traded for him, and he goes right back to Cleveland as a free agent. It's like, what the fuck? So either way, we'll see what happens with that. I think the next Summer League game for the Hawks is Wednesday afternoon. So I'm going to definitely tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to try to watch that, at least some highlights of it, see what happens, see how they are looking. And, we'll see if AJ keeps playing, because you don't want to necessarily risk it. But it's nice for him to get some action since he barely played down the stretch. I think a lot of that is what this is. And just seeing how he plays as a teammate, like watching how he acts off ball, like how's he moving, stuff like that. I'm sure Quinn Snyder is keeping a close eye on. Because that's one of the good things about Summer League. Gives one of the assistants, in this case, Antonio Lang, a chance to get some coaching experience. And also that way with a head coach can be there but not have to think as much. Like he can be watching and doing his notes or whatever. He don't have to think about strategy, especially for Quinn Snyder, a guy who barely watched the team, didn't get to coach the team very long, came on very late in the season for a coach, really, ended his vacation. Still thinking, man, I kept seeing Ime Udoka sitting there, watching the Rockets playing. I'm like, man, I still wish that was our coach. Not going to lie. I mean, a guy that took his team to the finals his first year. As long as, I would say you would need to investigate what the situation that led to his firing and make sure it wasn't anything like rapey or whatever, But, I don't know. If that's the reason, I still think, barring any, terrible stuff that would come from an investigation, just to follow up and make sure it wasn't just a violation of terms, which is what it seemed like. But either way, that's going to be all for me today. Check back tomorrow for my wrap-up of the Major League Baseball All-Star Game and see how Ronald Acuna and his fellow Bravos perform. And, of course, if there's any Hawks-Panthers news, I'll let you know. It's kind of quiet on the Panthers front, other than they are inducting Muslim Muhammad and Julius Peppers into the Panthers Hall of Honor, so that's really cool. Definitely enjoyed watching those players. Peppers, I'm glad he got to come back at the very end of his career to the Panthers. That dude was a beast, man. People forget how damn good an athlete he was. Not just football. He could have played in the NBA too, man. He was that type of dude. He was dunking all over people. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. Check back tomorrow for more of your new favorite podcast. Signing out. Babbling Brooks says, peace out.